what you looking at? I got a TKO on wherever the pool is at. What you looking at, boy? What you looking at? Got two toolies of my own, I don't need a gat. Hold up, no sir. Step up to the mic, bring me closer. Sabotage back in the lab, and to stop that you gonna have to go through both. The swole up. Anytime I pull up the bars, I buck up my shoulders and pour the heart. Word to God, my gear.
What's up, everybody out there in the world today? What's going on this Monday night? You know what time it is. It's 7 o'clock. It's the Knockout Hour with your boy TKO, the notorious one, the biggest one half of the tag team, the Regulators. All right. Normally every week that Snooty Foxx will be here. However, he's not here this week. Yet we're going to sit there and just make sure we're going to keep the show rocking and rolling for you, ladies and gentlemen. So for the ones that tune in every week, we would like to thank you once again for coming back to the Knockout Hour. As you can see, this one little small thing right here is made a little modifications and upgrades. So as you can see that normally my computer always be, my camera be on the computer. We got something working back there. And as well as now I got an actual microphone. Yeah, that's pretty dope, ain't it? Because we had one little setup. And we realized that it was an issue sometimes as people viewing the show. So we just think, hey, let's go ahead and new year, new us. Let's go ahead and start adding things and making the show better for you guys. As you can see as well right here in the background, that's last week's episode. Is again, we're just working on things, trying stuff out. And then as always, for the ones that's tuning in this week, you are going to have an action-packed 1 hour of me, TKO, going here to discuss combat sports news and give you the rundowns of what I think is going to happen on tonight's Monday Night Raw's episode. Right after the show at 8 o'clock, I want you guys to jump over to Netflix and grab the family, grab some popcorn, and let's watch a good show tonight. A couple of things before we like to get started on the national news level. Happy Martin Luther King Day for everyone out there that's celebrating that. Me, myself, and my family, very grateful for this day. For a lot of people that work federal jobs, I know they're very happy because they got a day off of work, and other people as well. But we just thought it'd be great to be able to have, a day like today to honor a great man that fought for equality for all men and women. And still to this day, we have a lot in America to overcome. However, we as a nation, do have to remember that, again, we're all American. We should always show love for our country. Also show love for our fellow men and women. Because, again, it takes a lot for us as human beings on this planet Earth, to persevere throughout our day. And let's stop making enemies just because of simple things of how we look and or how we may appear to someone rather than what's inside that person's heart. So I encourage everyone out there today, please take some time to be able to look up some information about Dr. Martin Luther King and his life. For those that don't know, he was an African-American man. He was also a pastor, minister, and he did many movements in the South. He had a great speech where he had over, I think it was over 100, the Million Man March, excuse me, and in Washington, D.C. And again, he gave his great speech of I Have a Dream. So as today, as being a Black man, being on this here podcast, having a great opportunity given to me with someone else that has, again, from a different ethnicity, it doesn't matter. Love is love, friendship is friendship, and all that goes in relationship with someone else in your life. So I'm just very grateful that Dr. Martin Luther King's dream had been make a lot of progress, and again, African Americans like myself being able to be seen and have the opportunity for you guys to experience a piece of my life with you guys. So shout out to Dr. Martin Luther King. We appreciate you, everything you've done. As today's your birthday, just want to go ahead and represent. Also in America, we have had today the inauguration of President Donald J. Trump. And I'm not going to spend too much about that, but I would say is we are one nation. If you are American, especially for our men and women serving in the armed forces, we salute you guys for giving us everything we have over here, which you fight hard for our freedoms every single day. As being a son of a mother that served in the United States Air Force. I'm very proud of my country because I believe that this this is the best place to live. It's the land of the opportunity. And it's man, I mean, again, this is all I know. I met people like at least they most my brother. If you look back here, some of these pictures, well, actually, we got to get it back on the wall. The frame started to seen better days. We got to get a new one. But I would say, like, that as Americans, I understand that we would not always agree on everything. That's not um, always common. It's not supposed to be that way. That gives you the opportunity to learn. So I encourage people out there, whether you support him or not. I think that it's best that you realize that every day you have an opportunity because in America you can make yourself anything you want to be, and I'm proud for that as well. So let's hope that again that the president does his jobs and duties and responsibilities because that's what we all want as America. We want that again, our liberties, our freedoms to be expressed and still go on, holding the truths of the Constitution, even though some people have biased opinions. But I just wanted to say that, guys, because this is again for America, it's a big day for us and people that serve in our country worldwide, and also we got Americans that live in other parts of the world as well. So anyway, I just wanted to get those two things out the way before we started the show. Now on the knockout hour, we normally like to tell you about our previous lives, as again we do a lot of multiple things outside of the ring because especially me, I have three daughters, a wife, I'm married. I have a lot of responsibility, a lot of roles, and I'm also owner of a professional wrestling company. But this past week was not so much one of my weeks where I had to do a lot of ripping and running, but just mainly concentrating on being a better person. Um, we all go through ups and downs as that's how we are as human beings. It's not always sunny days, but I would say that I found a way to get out of those hard times by the help of my good brothers at Brightspeed, um, just dropping knowledge on me and encouraging me to understand that I am important in what I do in my life and it matters. So always tell yourself that again, if you're ever being down and down and out and think things can't get worse, it definitely can. But I will always say that um, I'm a firm believer in God, and I believe that God will not put you through something you cannot persevere. I'm gonna say that again. God will not put you through something that He don't think you can persevere through. We all have to stand up to test in our lives and just keep finding a way to keep picking ourselves up and keep going on. So that's another thing, again, to you, ladies and gentlemen, that's out there, is hearing this beautiful, beautiful voice right here. That again, you are special, you are important, you are loved, and just keep pushing forward. Things will get better because you only as strong as the things you go through. All right. All right. So one thing too, before we start the show, is we're going to end in this week because I had an idea that I have a good friend of mine's. He's a artist, hip hop artist, and I've been around him now for as a friend, at least I would say like at least 10 years, and he's always been a good brother. He puts on a lot of great events, and he's been now going ahead working on Shrimp and Grits. I think this is the fourth or fifth one, third or fourth, excuse me. Where last year he had Benny Siegel and Freeway show up in Greensboro, Boston, and it was a sold out event. So, with all that being said, yes, sir, it is. It definitely is. And, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and cue up a song real fast for you. This is OC from NC. Check it out. It's from his new album, Project 25. I'm like, Marsha, I'm just here, baby. That's my part right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You heard it. You heard it. My man, OC from NC. Ladies and gentlemen, that's one of his newest tracks on his album, Project 25. As you see right here at the bottom of the screen, if you want to check out his music, I mean, again, he has multiple albums, but you can go ahead and check out OC from NC. He's on all streaming platforms, on IG at Black Phillip. Also, his new album, again, just released, is called Project 25. All right. It actually dropped on New Year's Day. So go ahead, rush over after the show. Make sure you go check out my boy OC from NC. All right. Great music from, again, North Carolina's own. He's always putting on and representing for our city of Burlington, North Carolina. All right. So I appreciate that. We're going to start doing more of that. As the week goes on, because I think that I appreciate hip hop music. It's a form of art, and I want you guys to be able to listen to something new if you're riding down the road. And hey, if it's TKO approved, then it's got to be something right with that, right? So, all right. So anyway, that was great, man. Thank you, DC. My man. So we got right here. We're gonna get into our segment right here when it gets to the combat sports, and right here you got boxing and MMA. And we're gonna start off with boxing. All right. So I was doing some research, looking up things. I was on ESPN, so when I'm getting some of this information, again, just take it for this particular category right here it's just saying it's a bold boxing prediction for 2025, which is saying that Usyk's going to retire and Klitschko is going to return. Wow, that is crazy, right? Someone's predicting again. Should have got the source. We're gonna get the source, but a lot of it is that the fact of it's chances that we will see Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford later this year. We will also have the chance to see Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. We'll probably have tune-up fights before they meet in a anticipated rematch slated in October. You also got Tyson Fury has retired, but he has said that 4 times before, and those retirements ended quickly. So, saying we'll see about that. So, with that being said, it can also be a fight between Fury and Anthony Joshua could happen in London. So, hey guys, it's an exciting time to be a boxing fan because it's a lot going on. Because also they have down here too at ESPN's #3 pound for pound fighter anyway could be possibly making his turn to the United States for the first time since 2021. Man, let's go ahead and break that down real quick. So first thing it's saying right here, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, big time money fight. This right here is probably that fight where they can retire off of. Canelo made plenty of money. That's right, plenty of money, especially with that 3-match series with Golovkin. I think we definitely know he made some money off of that. So with Terence Crawford, this is more again for him. This is all about putting all the critics to bed, finally shutting them up and saying, hey, I should have that respect on my name for the career I had, which I believe because I'm a Bud Crawford believer. So I think this is a highly anticipated matchup. I do, in my heart of hearts, do believe and feel that, all right, if I'm going with my heart, I'm voting Bud, of course. I'm going with Bud. Okay, so we got a question from Bobby. It says, do you think is it for Crawford? And I thank you for the question. I would say betting on emotions. I learned from a wise man, DC, that you shouldn't bet with your emotions. But I would say that I would go with Canelo by decision to win. However, I would love for Bud to. I'm a big Bud fan, but I think that weight class move up is one thing, and Canelo is a very excellent fighter. And you're looking at, again, if it was past his prime, where he's one of the best I've seen in this game to still be where he is. So I think that's it's going to be crazy. Yes, sir. Let's do that. Yes, sir. We're going to have another track dropping for you guys. OC from NC around 7:40. All right. So if you like the first track, make sure you tune in around 7:40. Stay with us at 7:40. We'll have another track as well. All right. But yes, so thank you for that, Bobby. I would say yes. I want Crawford to win. Lord knows I would. I'll probably put money on Crawford because he's definitely gonna be the underdog either way. So if you wanted to get some money, again, put it on Crawford. Because if you put it on Canelo, it's pretty much a lock deal on that. You're just gonna get your return. It's not gonna be as big, but what y'all see on that part? Then we got the Debbie Haney and Ryan Garcia rematch potentially happening. I think this is great as well. I think, forget all these lawsuits. Forget all that. Let's stop with the outside fighting. Let's get it on in the ring again. So I think this is going to be a good fight. If you were to say this time around, they said that Ryan Garcia was juicing, and that's what they said they proved in this last sample he submitted before the fight. Okay, here we go again with these. You can't go off of what you would like rather than what you know. I would say this time around, I think Haney would be way more prepared because he's seen what Ryan Garcia is going to do. And I love my cousin. Shout out my cousin. We like to talk about boxing a lot. He's a Ryan Garcia guy. Or when he breaks down Ryan Garcia, he always says Ryan throws the same punches, and he is correct. So I would like to piggyback on that and say that, yeah, he may throw the same punch, but he throws really hard. And I think that he has a fighter's chance, even if he isn't juicing or not, to really put Haney back down. Because I think sometimes, too, Haney got exposed in that fight, as a lot of other fighters do, because sometimes they may have had an easier way up as others haven't. And I'm not saying that about Haney, but I would say with his dad, I love his father in his life, but I would say, Pops, he can't always catch checks that you keep putting out there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. As the fight gets closer, we see a 2-0 fight with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney in the future. We'll see. Again, this is all predictions. Some of these could be cemented, but we'll see. We'll get the information to you as the week goes on. Now, we had mentioned last week that Tyson Fury was, again, retiring from boxing. He said on IG, left a little post on there. But he's done that 4 times before. So we're looking at a big-time fight between him and Anthony Joshua, which I would love to see that in London. I think that will go down as one of the last great heavyweight fights of our time for some time. I do believe the heavyweight division, especially for the American side, is really lacking. And for Americans, we like to again, I can only speak for what I think I know, in my opinion, is that Americans don't root as hard for a world champion unless it's their own. Um, because I'll say that in a second after this part. We mentioned another fighter, but I would say that DeAndre Wilder was one of our last hopes. And then once he came short a couple of times against some great fights with Tyson Fury, it really showed that the world for that time kind of took the out of boxing again and started having to look to YouTubers and stuff like that. No disrespect, just saying I rather like the professional style of it. They're feeling like I'm getting cheated because this is more of a ruse than anything else. Because I do believe professional boxers are on a different class level and they do handle the game with much more respect instead of, again, just always about profit. I think that there's nothing wrong with that, but I would say the integrity of these fighters do care about the sport. So I think that'd be a tremendous fight. If I Again, it's all about when we're saying who we're gonna pick to win. You gotta know what's really going behind the Fury. What's going on behind the curtain to some of these fights beforehand, and they could be possibly to say something like Tyson Fury. A lot's going on in his headspace. Would he be ready and be prepared for Anthony Joshua? So we'll just see because Anthony Joshua could be sometimes when the moments it is brightest, he can kind of come short sometimes. So we'll see what happens in that. And then what goes to my point about saying Americans, a lot of times we don't kind of represent what we don't know, even though someone could be a world champion. The world means the world. So it's not inclusive to when our champion has it throughout the world. It means you get it. So we got Inoue, right? Which I ain't know nothing about this kid until maybe 2 years ago. I worked his job, and a friend of mine, me and him used to always go back and forth every morning about fighting and boxing and stuff. I would love to try to get him on the podcast one day. Because if I talk, I could bring him on about Inoue as the fight gets closer, but he would love to talk about Inoue. For real, he loves that guy. However, when I watched those fights too, I was highly impressed. I think his punching skills was amazing, his speed, his power behind it. But I was always one of those ones wanting he come to America. Well, we may have that possibility this year because everybody wants to see the fight between him and Tank Davis, especially me. So we shall see. As again, these are all predictions, and but just saying that maybe this is the possibility of what's going to be the landscape for this year to look forward to. We always got Vladimir Klitschko would try to break George Foreman's record. Hall of Fame boxer returning to the ring at the age of 48, and Klitschko seems open to the possibility. He told Fight Hub TV last month, "There's let's see. I ain't got my glasses on." But he said it's an obligation to break the record and being the oldest heavyweight to win the world title. And so another thing a lot of people didn't know is he never stopped training. So just because he stayed out of the public scene and didn't take any fights, he was one of those guys that said, "Hey, stay ready so you don't have to get ready." So I think that is dope. Klitschko, it'd be great to see him back in the ring. He was a great champion in his time. He handled one of my favorite heavyweights, not the favorite, but Lennox Lewis was one of my favorite. Southpaw, very smooth. And he's another one too that it looks like he can get back in the ring right now when he was shown at that pay-per-view on Netflix with the Mike Tyson fight against Jake Paul. Yeah, Jake Paul. But I would really sit there and love to see that happen. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you posted. We hear any news about it as weeks goes on. All right, and we reported several times before as these fights are coming up. It's that time for MMA and boxing to kind of beef up the cards and start getting back to business as usual. And so you got on February 1st in Las Vegas. David. I'm sorry, y'all. I have a long day. I don't know why every single week I do that. Oh, okay. So we got another question from Bobby in comment. Let's see. It says, "Aren't you tired of seeing these old guys come back? Where are the young talent? FYI, base 136.7. Love you here in Dublin. Shout out to you, Bobby, man. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for serving our country. I appreciate you very much. Thank you. And yes, I would say, well, I would say this. Someone like Tyson was more of like a something like someone for me, right? It felt like one of these things where it puts me in the mindset of wrestling, the nostalgia of it all, the myth, the man, the legend. Like I brought my daughters in the room for them to see Mike Tyson, thinking he was gonna come out there and be that old pit bull dog he used to be. But to know that didn't happen, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It really kind of put me in a bad place that you may have a good point, bro. Not that's a good point to be had. Is that maybe, just maybe, leave it where it was so we can remember you the way you supposed to be, and that's as a legend. And so you have a valid point. You have a very valid point. But let's say it like this. You know, going for the concept of thinking the world championship. Let's see what he does in an 8 round fight, 10 round fight with someone. But you know, possibly even a young buck. I think that would be dope. So either way, that young buck gets some shine, and let's see if he can climb up the ranks. But yeah, I would have to agree with you. I'll go more on your side with it too. That yeah, maybe some of these older fighters need to sit down and stop taking the shine from these young brothers. But I would say, and sisters, because it may be the same with how Caressa keeps calling out Layla Ali. But I would say that hey, but you young guys, y'all need to come up here and find a way to get to the top. I want to see a dogfight in the American fighters because I don't see you guys emerging and saying, hey, we want to be a world champion. I see a lot of representation from all over the world, which is beautiful to know that they are a representation of the world. I mean, it's anywhere. So American fighters, let's step it up. Let's get back in the gyms. Let's put down the controllers. I'm a little old, okay? I do professional wrestling. That's different. But I would say that, hey man, let's get these gyms open up. Let's get these kids in here. Let's get them to get their hands up, learn how to defend themselves, all right? Instead of out here trying to serve this street justice as these people will, you know. But thank you for that, man. You're right. I would probably have to agree with you on that. So thank you for that. And so we got David Benavidez, excuse me, versus David Morales Jr. in a 12 round for Benavidez WBC interim light heavyweight title and Morales WBA light heavyweight title. So this right here is leading up to a fight 2 weeks later that we're going to possibly see a ultimate, legit, undisputed light heavyweight championship because on February 22nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, we got a fight between Arthur Benavidez versus Dimitri Bivol. I think I got it right this time because I had it right before. Anyway, it's going to be a 12 round fight for Benavidez undisputed light heavyweight championship. So, like I was saying, these two fights right here and the light heavyweight title picture, I think is really dope. So, if we don't have action at the heavyweights, then you definitely got some action going down the light heavyweight division. And for someone like me that's more in that weight range, I like that a lot because it's almost like Alex Bejeda. We'll get into that. He has a fight coming up. I love it where we have the guy. They're not the biggest guys on the show, or you come to see. It's like Andre the Giant. Yeah, he's in the ring and he's going to be the main event. But also, you do have on the same card someone like Bob Backlund at that time, where he was just fundamentally sound, great wrestler, but you know, he was a world champion in his own right for 8 years. But it wasn't like people were knocking at their doors at every single show to come see him, even though Andre was on the card, you know. So I just think that's one of those fights that the light heavyweight division in boxing is really, really showing up and showing them. And then first we got a fight in Las Vegas, and it's going to be Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. in a 12 round fight for Davis's WBA lightweight title. And we say this several times in the show as we announced this boxing bout that's coming up, that Tank is possibly considering retirement. We shall see, especially considering that NUA may make its way to the United States for a very highly anticipated matchup between these two. So we'll just keep you guys posted. I would say this, and this is kind of funny because I like the fact when it comes to NFL stadiums, they open it up to the world at the Cowboys. Several other franchises that build new stadiums, and I would say Las Vegas has definitely got their money back 3 times fold. It's the fact that every time you turn around, there's a fight in Las Vegas. I think that's kind of funny. But however, hey, the money is coming in, baby. The money's flowing. So with WWE, of course, being in big arenas, stadiums like even the NBA arenas, it's pretty dope to see that Las Vegas is popping ever since they said they moved them Raiders down. Even the hockey team, the Las Vegas Kings. No, is that right? No, that's not the Las Vegas Kings. Excuse me. The Las Vegas Golden Knights. There you go. Las Vegas Golden Knights moved down. So see a lot of things going down there. And even too, shout out to the Las Vegas Aces. As my daughter's a competitive basketball player at 8 years old, I like to say shout out to the women's basketball league as well. All right, we're gonna get to this segment right here with MMA before we get into wrestling. All right, so we're gonna go through this pretty good, good and fast for you guys, just like the MMA always is. Great, good combat. So we got the former UFC middleweight champion Chris Weidman retires. And a lot of people like myself, my fondest memory of Chris Weidman is when he was fighting Anderson Silva, and he broke Anderson Silva's streak at the time and won the title because Anderson Silva snapped his leg, his shin, actually. Shin bone. Then, ironically, a couple of fights later, Chris Weidman snaps his shin against a competitor. So that's crazy. But what a career, Weidman. I think he was a very good fighter for the UFC. Another good fighter we're talking about is Kevin Holland. Says the UFC, he says he wants the UFC fight record, not titles, is his goal. And so for him, he said he's trying to fight a record 6 times in a year to break the UFC record for most fights in a year. So shout out to Kevin Holland. I like his work. Very good fighter as well. And I guess everybody has to realize that your personal goals and combat fighting is not always everyone else's. Everybody has their own personal achievements. I would say as a competitor in wrestling, I would say I do it because, number one, I love it. It's a passion of mine. Plus, I love the fact that when it comes to me performing, that nobody can stop me. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can find somewhere you have a boss at a job and you can see a limit you can really climb. But in that ring, for that time I'm in there and that time I'm fighting, there's no one that can touch me or make me feel like I'm not the man in there. I'm the main attraction you come to see because I am that dude. And in that ring, I know that that's my domain. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's the same for these UFC fighters as well. That if they're not reaching they're not in the title picture, no, it's cool. It isn't like that man ain't gonna go out there and give it everything he got because he knows that he has people depending on him to keep succeeding and keep going for his goal. And that's for him to have the most fights in a year in UFC. So shout out to him for putting that out there because everybody doesn't have the same goals in mind. And that's life. And so you got Damon Cormier and Chanel Sonnen to coach the next edition of the UFC, the Ultimate Fighter show, which I love going back and just watching the highlights. That show was funny, man, because the man testosterone, where you get around each other for a long time, and let's say y'all they living together, they're training together, you can see the egos, all that stuff. I think that's a dope show. I love it a lot. So yeah, man. That's a little news we had right there. Is again, UFC is trying to crank it back up as the new year started. I'm going to make this known that it was some news out there about Conor McGregor. If you want to do some research and news on Conor McGregor, you can do that at your own time and expense because here on this show he's a scumbag and we're not going to sit there and support him. So just making it known that if you're a fan of Conor, that's cool. That has nothing to do with you as an individual. But I would not support or condone what that man does to women. So we're gonna just if you want to find out more information, I know some people be wondering, hey, why ain't you drop that news? Well, I'm telling you what. So there you go. Take it how you want. so, so yeah, that's definitely one of those things. We're not discussing. I don't like to talk on this show. I like to use the time I have in order to uplift uh, positive energy and put the right things out in the world instead of trying to spread negativity and talking down on people. I think that respect goes a long way with me, and I don't have respect for people that make decisions like that for so many reasons. So, yeah, as a father, as a husband, as a son, I do appreciate all the women in my life, and I appreciate all the women on this earth that again that y'all give us life, and I think that we should respect you and treat you to the highest extent. So I think that's one of the things we would not do on this show. So I'm just making it known. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate you. I appreciate it too. We will not talk about anything like that on this show no more. All right. So yeah. Anywho, thank you, Bobby, for that. Thank you, sir. So I would say this right here. That on February the 1st in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Riyadh in Las Vegas is making money, bro. It's going stupid right now. But we got another fight on ESPN Plus. We got Israel Alexander. He would be back in action on the UFC Fight Night. And then on February the 8th, UFC 312. That's right, 312. We got Duplessis versus Strickland 2. Strickland is looking to get his title back from champion Duplessis in a middleweight championship fight that you do not want to miss because these two guys have a lot of animosity. It's going to be a very hard hitting matchup. I do like Strickland a lot, but I think you can't really sometimes win with the judges the way you want it to go. So I would think Duplessis are probably going to retain, but I would say Strickland is a highly favorite of mine, so I would like for Strickland. And then on UFC's March the 8th, we got UFC's 313. We're going to have my man, Alex Fade. He's back in action in T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada, for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. Like I was saying, 20 minutes earlier, love me some Alex Fade. That's my guy. So it's going to be a good one. And then on March 22 in the O2 Arena in England, London, England, on ESPN Plus, you got my man Leon Edwards is back in action at the UFC Fight Night. So that's some pretty much sum up some of the fights that's going down in the next couple of months. So if you ain't doing anything, please check out those fights as well as my man Islam. Forgot about that. Islam Makhachev. He kept his light heavyweight title with a first round submission, and it was this past Saturday at the new arena from the Clippers at UFC 311, and that was the first pay per view of UFC this year. All right, so we're getting right here close to 7:40. As I mentioned earlier, for a lot of people that's probably back in tuning in, we said we're going to play another track from OC from NC. As you can look at the bottom of the screen as the song is playing, and for people out there listening on the radios, especially you, Bobby, if you got Spotify and all that good stuff, check out my man's. It's OC from NC with another track on the Knockout. Hey, hey, hey,
God, keep it discreet, she loving on minute. It's all the best, like Dennis the Menace. Ooh, cut those standing on business. Dream on the bar, won't tell what we did. Asking the things, forgive all our sins. Keeping it cool like I'm fat in this bitch. I'm the type to go down, I'm a jet. That is all they said is nothing but can't stand me. Yeah, this shit is ridiculous. I'm going on the plane, we got this, go for the win. Tell we go for the win. Y'all niggas, we go for the win. Snap back. Snap back. Hey, put something on your head. Snap back. Snap back. Put a nigga put something on your head. Snap back. Snap back. Hey, put something on your head. Put a nigga put something on your head. Snap back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is another track from my man, my homie OC from NC. Like I said, if any hip hop artists, if you want to get in touch with me, even say gospel singers, it doesn't really matter. Let me know if you out there and you make music content and we want to help. Say, hey, Teddy, I would like my song to be played on Knockout Out. There's many ways you can do that. I make sure to hit me up at iconprowrestling.tko@gmail.com. Again, that's iconprowrestling.tko@gmail.com. As I was saying earlier at the bottom of the screen, that's where you can find his music. That's right there on Spotify and Black Phillip on Instagram. Please check out my man's. He's out there blowing up. He's killing it. He's doing his thing. So, oh man, that's awesome. So we're gonna transition now. Perfect timing. Thank you, DC. And we're gonna transition to some good old wrestling talk. All right. And we're gonna start this off with WWE and TNA. Excuse me. Wrestling have struck a multi-year partnership that will see TNA pro wrestlers regularly appearing on the NXT programming and vice versa. WWE told ESPN on Thursday. Under multi-year deal, wrestlers from each promotion will appear on the other company's TV programming. I think that is very dope. That WWE is kind of again changing things up when it comes to the idea of on a major company level, people can do business together, work with one another in order to push wrestling in any way they can, and that's how wrestling should be. So that's pretty dope. Shout out to the Heat. For I think I seen Jordan Grace wrap up and lose the title recently to Marsha Slamovich, and I think she is now the new Knockouts champion of TNA. And so also, word, that's what's up. Yeah, that's true. That's probably true. But yeah. So when you got um, true. The opportunity to get wrestling on so many different platforms and levels, it's a whole different ball game. So I think that'd be pretty dope that they're doing this. All right. So with that being said, Monday night is now on the Netflix, and we're on the Netflix era. So it's a lot of action. If you guys do not be able to see wrestling before, it's a whole different ball game now because now it's live all over the world. So if you get a chance tonight, within the next 15 minutes, the show will be live. Go ahead and make sure you jump over and check it out. But we're gonna go through some review and some results. And so we had the show starting off with CM Punk kicking off a promo. Um, man, it's so cool to have someone like him at his age and his experience to not miss a step in the years that passed from him not being in the WWE, taking time away from wrestling, then re-entering back at AEW, and then finally returning back to the E. I think it's tremendous to have someone like him with the younger guys and the talent they do have to only further push their careers, put more monies in their pocket, and make them bigger stars. So I think that's pretty dope that everything he does for the Heat right now. So he can't miss for me, in my opinion. And you got Chad Gable. He had an open challenge that he asked Adam Pearce the week before that he was looking for a challenge, which we all kind of knew was leading up to the debut of Penta. Now, for me, this is the first time I've seen Penta ever. I know people be like, wow, that's crazy. Well, I didn't watch AEW, and so I wouldn't have known how nice he was at that point. Then before that, too, I would say as an independent wrestler, I may have seen him on some shows maybe, and I've never really recognized it as much because I'm just it's hard to retain everything, you know. But I would say, man, I love the presence of Penta. He is an amazing, amazing talent. And he is the absolute definition for anyone out there in this wrestling business. Don't you ever give up on what you believe in. You keep pushing, you keep fighting. Some doors were right now. Oh, you think it was trash? Well, okay. I would say this too, man. Like, it could be that, having that big debut, knowing that the world was going to see him like that. If you're talking about the Raw debut, then I can see where you're going with that. But I would say, in my opinion, if it was about the Raw, that was 100% from the heart. Um, I know that as well. I've done broke down so many times in front of people because when I talk about the passion, and just like you are in the military, sir, that to get through all the training, all the hours, busting your tail, working a job, just being on those roads, you kind of get the idea of what I mean. Is that all the stuff you put into wrestling, it feel like the big payoff once you have the world see you in a different light than they can actually see you. Like for me, the training I went through, one of my my trainers are Eric Royal and Trevor Lee. And some people know him as Cameron Grimes. Those are my trainers. Also been trained at the CWF Mid Atlantic. That's what I've been trained. So the thing about me is those I do not forget those days practices where I didn't think I could keep going. Um, but I knew inside of me this is what I wanted for me in my life, and I wouldn't let it stop me. The determination, you know. So I would just say that that's what I seen out of him that really fired me up. Okay, he said, let me be more specific. His wrestling was phenomenal, but as soon as he got the mic, he lost me forever. Oh, okay. I think, yeah, it's just the raw emotions, like his daughter and stuff, man. Like I said, I can see where you're coming from because in professional wrestling, yes, um, everything shouldn't always be so open like that. I get what you mean because sometimes, to be honest with you, you could do that during the commercial break and no go with nothing. But yeah, I see what you're saying on that part. It was cheese, if you want to say on that part, correct. But I would say absolutely, man. I would like to know next week. Let's keep it rolling with the conversations of Pentagon. I know we got a match tonight, so I'm going to check it out. I know you are, and let's see what happens, man. Because I'm excited for what he's going to go through in the WWE. But yeah, I can see where you coming from, bro. Absolutely, yes, I can. All right, so then we got Sheamus versus Luke Kaiser. I can't wait till this right here ends because I don't even know what this leading to. Is really boring for me. Not saying the competitors. I love Luke Kaiser and Sheamus. I'm just getting really kind of tired of this right here. It's not leading to anything. So yeah, but Sheamus comes out with the win. So hopefully this was the end of this and they just keep moving on. Oh, Bobby got another comment right here. It says, which side will he join? He isn't strong enough to be solo. That's a great question. I never even thought about it like that. That is really a good question. Um, hmm. We would have to see because I never even really thought about that. That stumped me. Because I can see where you're coming from. It's kind of like WWE's way of like now the Triple H. Let's group everybody together and make it. And I ain't gonna lie to you, it's kind of irritating me with that. Like that's not how the world is. Just because someone has a likeness or came from the same place does not mean they always have to join up with the same people. So I do agree with that. But we'll see. And they said I would bet you he will have someone come out tonight. He will group himself. Yeah, he really will. He really will. I think it's going to happen. Um, I've heard reports. Isn't like Ray Phoenix contract up? If it is, then people are talking about that. But I think they have to fall out too. So I don't know. But yeah, man, we'll see. Because that's a very good question. Hey, you know what? You the man, Bobby. I'm gonna keep my eyes open for that tonight. I thank you for you pretty much called something I did not see at all. Because I thought there was gonna be another night they're gonna put him over super big, especially because now they paid all the money for him. And we'll see. But thank you. That was great. I did not do that. I'm gonna definitely like make another day next week. And so I'm gonna try to get to these real quick because we've got 9 minutes left. So we had a great show so far. And I thank you for all your comments, Bobby. It's been fun. Y'all been riding with us this whole time. Thank you for spending your time with us in the knockout hour. Let's go ahead and sew this thing up. Yeah, that's right. Cover said it. Go ahead. That's my dog. And so we had Gunther cuts a promo that leads to Jey Uso coming out and asking for a title shot at the WWE Saturday Night Main Event. I think that's this Saturday night. So tune into that as you have the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther versus Jey Uso. And then you had the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament final match, and it was Laura Valkyria versus Dakota Kai. And your winner, first ever WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion, it is Lyra Valkyria. Ladies and gentlemen, that is huge. I love that a lot. It is super cool. And then so we got Sami Zayn versus The Miz, which your winner is Sami Zayn. Quick comment from my man Bobby. He says, we love Gunther here. And I love me some Gunther too. I think he is a tremendous champion and a very good talent that's going to be generational. I do believe that. I love me some Gunther. So I'm on your side with that one too as well. Appreciate that, bro, because I love me some Gunther. Excellent work. I don't think he should lose or he's going to lose to Jey or something. But you got Sami Zayn beats The Miz. And then you had a Rhea Ripley promo that brought out Nia Jax and also brought out BBL Bailey. BBL Bailey. And so I've heard today that Adam Pearce made an announcement that Bailey is now transferred over to Raw. So she will not be on the Raw roster. She has a match against Nia Jax. And so then you have a street fight to end up this story for a while between Damian Priest and Finn Balor. And your winner is Damian Priest, which everybody kind of knew that was going to happen. And that's it for Monday Night Raw. And it will be on in less than 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and try to roll through some more results from the two other programs of WWE. You got WWE New Year's Eve, where your new WWE NXT champion Oba Femi comes out to celebrate winning the NXT championship at New Year's Eve. You had a match for the number one contendership for the women's North American title that was between Shotzi and Stephanie Bakura, and your winner was surprisingly Shotzi. So Shotzi has a number one contendership for the women's North American title. And then you got Ethan Page versus Dante Chen, where your winner is Ethan Page. Two members of Meta-4, which was Jerrica Jackson and Lash Legend. They went against the Unholy Union with Alba Fire and Izzy Dawn. And that was for the number one contendership for the women's NXT tag titles. And your winner was Meta-4. You had Kalani Jordan, she was in action, versus Cora Jade, and your winner is Cora Jade. You had Nathan Frazier in action, and they went against OTM, and your winners is Nathan Frazier and Axiom, and that wrapped up another episode on NXT. If you want to see NXT footage or any of their matches, please tune into the CW Network. WWE, we definitely would love if you start giving us some of that money, but putting on every week, man. Come on, baby. And then lastly, we're going to wrap it up with some SmackDown, which they didn't have a lot of matches. So right here you had Naomi and Bianca versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Your winner is Naomi and Bianca Belair. And then you had Jimmy Uso versus Carmelo Hayes, and your winner was Jimmy Uso. And you had Los Guerreros versus Motor City Machine Guns, and your winners was the Motor City Machine Guns. A couple notes. Note right here is that Solo showed up after Jimmy took a beating, but he did not say a single word. He just ended up leaving through the crowd as Tama and Fatu, Jacob that is, looked confused. Jacob picked up the mic and delivered a short but intense promo before LA Knight showed up. He attacked him from behind and had the upper hand for almost 30 seconds before they teamed up on him. Braun Strowman came down to make the save and had a confrontation with Fatu, but he ended up leaving to Tama pulling out Jacob, so he didn't get that. But ladies and gentlemen, Solo was getting booed out of the building. He couldn't even speak after his loss to Roman Reigns when he lost to Ula Fala on the debut of WWE's Raw on Netflix. So the question is, leading up, what's going to go on with the new bloodline? Have Solo packed up his ball and went home? We shall see as the weeks continue. So we want to thank you for allowing us to give you some great news about the WWE as well as boxing and MMA, because this right here is a wrap on the Knockout Hour on that part, because we're about to do the little house cleaning portions right here before I leave out the show. Is that if you want to get in contact with me, if it's to, hey, how can I be a sponsor on the Knockout Hour? And I also want to know more about my wrestling career. Not too much about my life though. Can't do all that. I ain't got time for y'all to be all up in my business. But my name is Teddy Allen Jr. on Facebook. You can also check me out on the Knockout Hour on Facebook group page. You're going to get in there, ask for the invite. Also, if you want to find me on social media, my page is TKO336. My company I own as well is a wrestling company called Icon Pro Wrestling. Icon stands for Integrity Can Overcome Negativity. And we're here located in Brownsville, North Carolina. And the company's email address, all that good stuff, you want to hit us up, it's Icon Pro Wrestling LLC on social media and email. To end this show, which is about to end in less than 3 minutes, I would like to say thank you again to the brothers and sisters at Bright Speed Internet for always giving your boy an opportunity to enrich and change my life, and for the positive affirmations that y'all give us every day and always showing us support and love. I would also like to thank my family as always being so overly loving and supportive of me and my dreams as much as I try to be in their life and support theirs. My daughter has a game this week, as she does the past couple of weeks. So I think one of these weeks I will be out the show because my daughter has a game. Just putting it out there. So if you guys like, oh man, why is he not on here this week? I'm sorry. Got to put my baby girl first. You know what I'm saying? So I always love watching her play ball. This is her second year playing. But to my wife, I love you. My moms, love you. But I would like to say that thank to my producer. Because every single week, I give him so many difficult tasks sometimes that I don't appreciate how hard he worked for me, Snooty. And I just like to say shout out and thank you, DC. And yeah, man. So if you ever want to spend some time watching TKO's matches, you're going to check out the Knockout Hour. Go to the Knockout Hour. Two little cone joints. TKO, and yeah, man, check out the Knockout Hour if you want to go watch some more episodes. If you want to watch my wrestling, go at TKO on YouTube. I'm supposed to be putting some matches up for the free ski for right now, so you have to watch some more of my previous matches I've done. But as we close the show, I would like everybody out there to again tune in, check out Netflix tonight as we wrap up this show in a couple of seconds. It's going to be a great night of WWE wrestling. And yeah, let's bring back so many conversations for next week that I won't even have to go through half of what I did, because Bobby, you did a great job tonight being my co-host. So thank you, bro. So anyway, everybody, as we're about to end the show, I'm going to get off of here. I'm about to turn this off right here with me on here and Snooty, and I'm about to watch some WWE Monday Night Raw. So shout out to you guys. Be safe. Spread love. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.
What you looking at, boy? What you looking at? I got a TKO on wherever the food is at. What you looking at, boy? What you looking at? Got two toolies of my own. I don't need a gat. Hold up, no sir. Step into the mic, bring me closer. Sabotage back in the lab, and to stop that you gonna have to go through. Swole up. Anytime I pull up the bars, I buck up my shoulders and pour the heart. Word to God, my